Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Hannah, and on this podcast, we like to talk about purity culture, sex, relationships, family, marriage, girl things. It is a good time over here on the podcast. And today's episode is just like so freaking sad. So I'm really, really sorry. Obviously, if you saw the title of this episode, that is what we were talking about today. And I'm just really sad, and trying to do the intro just felt so inauthentic, but here we are recording a podcast. I had a miscarriage. I don't even know. I've been like thinking about how to record this episode, how to talk about it, but I am ready to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want everybody to know about the life that I had created and was carrying for 9 weeks, and it was such an important part of our family. And so I want to talk about it. And so if you have experienced a miscarriage before, or this is triggering to you, I totally understand. You do not have to listen to this episode. It's all I'm going to talk about this entire podcast. So just, trigger warning. I've always understood trigger warnings, and even more so now, I am just understanding why people put a trigger warning before you talk about miscarriage, because it's heavy and sad and really just awful. So I want to talk about it today. I want to talk about what we've been going through for the past couple weeks. I want to talk about my pregnancy because I was so excited to be pregnant. Obviously, you guys have been with me because I recorded a whole podcast talking about how hard it was to get pregnant, how we were trying for 7 months. So we're just going to back up, and I'm going to tell the story of my pregnancy. Today is the first day that I actually took a shower, brushed my hair, or took a shower, dried my hair, fixed my hair, put makeup on. I know I'm going to cry, but I just wanted to put myself together a little bit because I haven't done that in a very long time, and it felt really good. It got me out of bed. I've been really struggling to get out of bed, but you know what? We'll get there. So let's go back to the beginning, because this pregnancy has been it was so fun to be pregnant because, as you guys know, we were trying in 7 months, and I posted my episode about wanting to be pregnant, and the next month after that, I found out I was pregnant. So I found out on February 23rd, I found out we were pregnant, and it was so exciting. So obviously we've been wanting this so bad. We've been trying to get pregnant for so long, and I had just been praying, and I was at church, or the night before, I found out on Sunday. On a Saturday, I was cleaning my house, and I had already decided that I wasn't going to buy any more pregnancy tests because I had been taking a ton of pregnancy tests all the time. Just like anytime I felt pregnant, I was taking a test. And I just knew that was not good for my mental health anymore. I just kept seeing negative tests. So I was like, I'm just not going to test anymore. And I'm just going to wait until I miss my period. Then I'll go buy pregnancy tests. While I was cleaning, and I found some of the HCG level strips that I had purchased a while ago that I just had a bunch of. I found some more. I guess they had fallen out of the bag. And so I was like, oh, I have some. We'll, see when I use them. And I was at church the next day, and I was just praying, and I was like, Lord, if I am pregnant, just give me a little sign. I don't need a big, double lines on a test. I just feel like I'm pregnant. I told Thomas a couple of days before I tested that I felt like I was pregnant. My body just felt different. I just felt different. I had told him I think it worked. I think I'm pregnant. And I decided, I was like, you know what? Let's just test. What's it going to hurt? This month was the month that I was using ovulation strips, and something that I love about myself and know about myself is I know when I'm ovulating. It's very obvious to me, but I was going to use the ovulation strips anyway, just because I wanted to double check. So in February, I took early February, I took a test, and I was like, I feel like I'm ovulating. I woke up and I was like, I feel like I'm ovulating. So I took an ovulation test, and it was positive, and I was like, all right, got it. And I was happy because I knew that I was ovulating. Well, fast forward a couple weeks, it was that Sunday morning. It was going to be a week before my missed period. So I was still pretty early to test. But something about me is when I found out I was pregnant with Tate, I found out super early. I found out when I was 3 weeks pregnant. I found out so early with Tate, and I knew that once I get pregnant, my levels are just you are pregnant. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a test. What's it gonna hurt? I came home from church, and I took a test. I knew I was still a week ahead, and I found out that I was pregnant. And I was so excited. I was like jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. Like the lines were so faint. They were so faint, but I knew even if it was the faintest line that meant positive, because that's how it was with Tate. And so I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. Like, I know it. It's so faint. And this was really fun because Thomas always wanted me to be able to like surprise him and tell him that I was pregnant. And I didn't get to that with Tate. We found out together. And so with him being at church, I knew I had about an hour and a half-ish before he came home. And so I took the test. I had 2 of them. So I took 2 of the strip tests. They both came back super light, like positive. And then I had like a early response test still that I just like found that I had. And so, oh no, I don't know that I did. I had that early response test. And so I took that one, and that one had a little bit darker of a line. And so I was like, okay, I know I'm pregnant. So I loaded Tate up in the car. We went to Target, and I just told Tate when I came downstairs, I was like, Tate, there's a baby in mommy's belly. And he was just like, a baby. Like, he just was so excited. I didn't like film him or anything because he doesn't like know Philly, but he does definitely know that there was a baby in mommy's belly, that he was gonna get a brother or sister, and that mommy has lost that baby. He knows what's going on, which I will talk about. But so I go to Target, I get a baby like banner, and I get 2 onesies. And I get Thomas this little like Formula One car that he's been wanting, just because I like happened to see it on a shelf when I was walking by something, and I was like, oh, that's literally what Thomas has been looking for. So I got him that little prize. I got Tate a little prize, and came home, set it up, and it was just like the most perfect thing I could do. I hung it up and I recorded, and I'm going to post all of this footage on my stories because I just want to celebrate this baby's life. I want you guys to be a part of it. You've been a part of it. So like, I want to celebrate this baby's life. So I, hung the sign up, and I set up my phone to record. Thomas walks in, and he was shocked. He literally fell to the ground, mouth open, like happy, like he could not believe it. Like, he was shocked. So I got to surprise him, which was really fun. We got to have those sweet moments. I got to tell Caroline and Corbin later that day. That was a really fun surprise. Since I tested so early, nobody was really expecting me to like tell them, which was fun. So we got to tell them. We told our families. It was just like a really beautiful experience. Like, we didn't tell a ton of people, but we told a couple people in our life. And so from then on, pregnancy symptoms come so quick for me. So I was already feeling pretty nauseous early on. When I went to Wilmington on our anniversary trip, I was also pregnant during that time. So a really fun story from that is that we went to this one restaurant pretty last minute because the other restaurant that we were going to go to had a fire, so we couldn't go there. And we ended up sitting at the bar just because there was not a lot of seating. So I was like, yeah, we'll sit at the bar. I don't care. And I told the bartender, I was like, oh, that smells so good. Like, I can't drink it. Like, I just found out I'm pregnant. And because I was just like so excited. And she was like, okay, well, if you were drinking, like, what would you get, a sweet or a sour drink? And I was like, I would get a sweet drink. And so she like made me this little mocktail, and it was like so sweet. And she was so excited for me. And she was like telling me all these things about, her life and her babies. And we were just talking about it. And it was just like so sweet. I felt so seen. I felt so loved. It was just like so nice during that time of being pregnant. And so of course I'm like super sick. If you guys follow along any kind of closely, I'm sure you thought that I was pregnant. I'm sure that people probably don't care about me that much, but I have not been posting because I have been in the trenches. So I've been super nauseous. I threw up twice. What's really sad, the first thing I threw up was my sourdough bread, which has been really sad because I've not been able to make bread because after I threw it up, I had a huge aversion to it, and I just like haven't had it in me to make it since. And so I definitely have let that go, which is really sad. But I was super sick. I was trying to get in with Duke early so I could get some Zofran, and they literally refused to see me until I was 8 weeks. I was like, I'm so sick, I need Zofran. I'm so sick, I need Zofran. They're like, we're so sorry, like, we won't see you until you're 8 weeks. Like, it was so crazy. Like, I was trying to go to the doctor and they wouldn't let me go to the doctor, which is so crazy. But maybe like in hindsight, it was good that I didn't go, because if I would have gone, I would have had to get an ultrasound. And at that point that I was trying to go get the Zofran, I think baby had already passed away. So like that would have been like confusing, because I probably would have been like, oh, you're just like not far along enough yet to hear the heartbeat. But in reality, like the baby had already passed. So that in hindsight, it was probably a good thing they wouldn't see me. But thankfully I have a primary care doctor, and we haven't had one ever. And I have a primary care doctor now, which is great. Through Thomas's work. It's one of our beautiful benefits. And she was able to give me some Zofran, which was so great. So I got Zofran. This time I was using Unisom and B6 to try and help with the nausea and the Zofran. So I was doing so much. I can't take Unisom. It literally knocked me out. Like I felt like the worst the days after taking Unisom. Even when I split it in half, I just had the worst reaction to it. I couldn't function taking it truly. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take it anymore. So the Zofran helped a lot, but I was like truly in the trenches. Like I felt so horrible, so sick constantly. I couldn't really get off the couch. I didn't really do much. Thomas and Tate were like living their best lives and I was laying on the couch. So that was pretty much from finding out when I was like 3 weeks pregnant until actually I had the procedure, because I was pretty much nauseous the entire time. But I started taking the Zofran and I started to feel better. And then there were days I didn't have to take the Zofran. And then there were days that I wasn't really as nauseous anymore. And I remember telling Thomas and Caroline, we eventually told a couple other friends too that we were pregnant. I remember telling them like, oh, I think it's a girl because I'm not as sick this time. Like this pregnancy has felt so different. I'm not as sick anymore. And hindsight, that is because my levels are dropping, but I didn't know that. And I had never, ever thought that meant that I had had a miscarriage. I truly didn't. I was nervous leading up to the appointment, but I just remember thinking like, I was telling Caroline, telling Thomas, like, I am nervous. Like, if I'm not nauseous, I'm nervous. But usually I would not be extremely nauseous. And then I would be like, okay, I'm feeling a little anxious about this. And then I would text Caroline or Thomas and be like, I'm feeling anxious because I'm not nauseous. And then like an hour later, I would feel nauseous again. So I was like, okay, yeah, everything's fine. No problem. Like the sickness is there. It was so drastically different because I was super sick, feeling really awful, but it wasn't as awful as it was with Tate. And so I just kept comparing that, and I just kept being like, it has to be a girl. Like I'm feeling a little bit better. It just has to be a girl. I also, you guys, like the pregnant belly was crazy. I looked like I was 5 months pregnant, and I'll probably post some pictures of that too, because it's so crazy how fast my stomach like poked out. Like if I wasn't going to tell people, my body was going to tell people. It was very obvious that I was pregnant, and no one's ever not going to say anything to me, and I don't see people during the week. I just see them on the weekends and at church, but like no one would have said anything to me, but I was definitely looking pregnant, like looking pregnant. So I just like kept, I was telling people like because we had told a couple of other friends, and because I am of the mindset of like, if I do want to tell people in our lives because I want that support. I want people praying. And if we end up having a miscarriage, like I want there to be support. I don't want to go through this by myself. I don't want to go through it alone. I want that support. And so we did tell a couple people before my appointment, but we didn't tell a lot of people. It was only just a couple. And so the day before my appointment, let me back up a little bit. There was one time a couple weeks into the pregnancy where I woke up in the middle of the night with a really bad cramp. And you do cramp when you're pregnant. That's just like as part of it. You experience cramps. It's your, stomach growing, your baby creating life inside of your body. So you're going to experience a little bit of cramps. And I woke up in the middle of the night to this cramp. And I remember like thinking like, oh, that was a really intense cramp. But I was just like, it's probably just me cramping like that. Like I'm sure it's fine. And I can't like say that is exactly the moment that it happened and that, my baby passed. But I do remember that happening. And from what the doctor said, that probably was around the time that it happened. So I should have like given a disclaimer that just because this is my experience does not mean this is going to be your experience. And just because I had a cramp when I was, 6.5 weeks pregnant doesn't mean that you have a cramp. That means something other than just a cramp. Okay. But this is just my experience. So the day before my appointment was on April 1st or April 2nd. I can't remember which day, April 1st or 2nd. I think it was the 2nd. The day before my appointment, we asked Tate, we're like, Tate, what's the baby's name? And he said, Mac. And I said, okay, baby Mac. So we're calling it baby Mac. And I think that ends up being really sweet because Mac could be a girl or Mac could be a boy, because we don't know what we had. But Mac could be a girl, Mac could be a boy. And so baby Mac just like feels right. As I've been talking about the miscarriage and talking about baby, sometimes I've said he, sometimes I've said she. A lot of times I just say baby Mac because baby Mac feels perfect. But he just like clear as day was like, the baby's name is Mac. And I was like, okay. So the day before baby Mac. So leading up to the appointment, I started having a lot of anxiety. And this is something I'm definitely going to process in some counseling. So we're not going to fully process it here, but I am going to share like the real of what I've gone through. So I started feeling a lot of anxiety about this appointment. And I had just kind of chalked it up to like first appointment anxiety because like there's always the fear that you're gonna hear like there's no heartbeat. But I had a lot of intrusive thoughts about it. I had fully planned out in my mind what was going to happen if they told me I was having a miscarriage. Like I knew like, okay, Tate was going to have to be taken care of that day. I'd probably go home and get in bed. I probably wouldn't move. Like I would call my mom, Tate would be taken care of by somebody. Like he could stay at Caroline's house all day. Like I was like, we'll probably just get in bed. I'll be really sad. Like I had planned out like step by step what was going to happen if that was the case. And I just like chalked it up to like, that's just anxiety. But looking back, it's like, okay, was my body trying to prepare me? Was the Lord trying to prepare me? I still think that was just anxiety. So that's something that I haven't quite worked through yet. And I'm just still processing, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in some like counseling that I'm going to do after this. But I had a lot of anxiety leading up to it, and that's been like really hard throughout all this process is like, what was that part of it? And I don't really know. So let's get to the day. So we get to the day, I go to my appointment. I go to my doctor, and everybody's so nice, so kind, so excited. And she goes to do the like vaginal ultrasound. She's doing it, and she's like, okay, we're gonna like go see your ovaries and your eggs, all the things. Like, we're gonna go look at all of that. And time just like kept passing, and I was just laying there, and I was like, I know how these ultrasounds go. Like I know what's supposed to happen. At this point, I'm 8.5 weeks, so I'm like, I know that we should be hearing a strong heartbeat. I know you can hear a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It's not always very common. Like I know it's possible. So I was kind of like waiting for it to happen. And as soon as she because there was a big the screen was pretty big where I was laying, so I could see, and I saw like what I thought was the baby, and it was tiny, like tiny baby. And I was like, oh, there's no way that was my baby. Like they'll find it. That was probably just like a piece of my stomach. I don't know. I'm not an ultrasound person. I don't know. But as soon as I saw that baby, like I got a pit, and I was like, oh no, like if that's the size of my baby, like something's wrong. So a couple times, like throughout the whole ultrasound, I think that I hear the heartbeat. I'm like, is that the heartbeat sound? Like, and she's just not saying anything. Because I also know like the text like can't really say stuff, but she's not saying a single word. I look at Thomas, I kind of look back, and I'm like, something's wrong. And then she just takes it out. And I was like, do I not get to hear the heartbeat? And she just look, I'll never forget the look on her face. She was like, so you're measuring about 6.5 weeks. And there was no cardiac activity detected. So that could mean that you're just like too early. Like that maybe you ovulated late and you're just like too early. And I immediately started crying because like I said, I was doing the ovulation test, and she did ask me when she was doing the ultrasound if my periods were regular. And I said, yes, I was testing myself. I was doing the ovulation strips. I know when I ovulated, my periods were very regular. And so I just like immediately started sobbing. She was like, I'm sorry, like we're going to go get like, a nurse to talk you through this, and we'll like go to the next room. So I really didn't know anything at that point. It was not confirmed that I'd had a miscarriage. It was just like, we don't really know what's going on. I knew immediately that I'd had a miscarriage. I was like, I know that's what happened. But now we're just gonna like in this waiting game. So I'm just like sobbing. Thomas is trying to, he's like, we don't know. And, he's trying to hold on to that. And I'm like, no, I know. Like, I know what's going on. And so then I'm like sitting and like waiting for them to like take me back to this other room. I get a notification on my chart app that they had canceled my next appointment. And so I was like, okay, because I had a ultrasound appointment, and then I had an appointment with my doctor. And so I was like, okay, they canceled that big appointment. Okay, yep, I know what's going on. And then a nurse comes and gets me, and she's like, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. And I said, I don't even know what's fully happening to me. And when I knew what was happening, but they hadn't confirmed it. But when she said that to me, I was like, oh, that's definitely like I'm had a miscarriage. And I just like fall into the floor. Like she's like holding me up, and I'm just like uncontrollably sobbing. it was like the worst thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. She's like holding me. I'm like in the hallway, just like sobbing. And the worst part about this office is like, I got to go walk a long way to go to the other part of the offices. So I got to walk through 2 lobbies. I got to see all the people in the lobby, and I am just like uncontrollably sobbing. And everybody was so kind. I can't speak highly enough of all of the care nurses I had during this time, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the front desk staff. Like, everybody has been so great to me. And so I, walk across, go to the other room. I talk to a doctor, and she's like, so there is a really high chance that you miscarried. Here are your options. We can either wait a week and do another ultrasound and see if baby's grown and if there's a heartbeat, or we can do blood work today, and then you come back in on Friday, do some more blood work on Friday. If your numbers have dropped, then that does confirm a miscarriage. And I was like, let's do the blood work. I don't want to wait another week. I was like, I knew that it wasn't that I had tracked stuff wrong. Like, I knew I had ovulated when I did. So I was 8.5 weeks. Like, baby should be 8.5 weeks. That should be a strong heartbeat. Like, I know all of that. So I had already decided and knew, like, I miscarried. That was on a Wednesday. And I'll never forget, like, when the realization hit Thomas, how sad he was. I'm not even going to say I'm going to try to get through there without crying, because that's just, like, what's going to happen. But also at this point, I've cried so much, and, like, I don't even know that I have a tear left in my body. Besides just, like, a little bit of welts up. Like, I can't stop crying. I don't even know if I've got any more tears left to cry. Like the song. But so she tells me that, and then I'm like, well, can you tell me what my options are? Like, the pills, do I pass it naturally? What's a DNC like? And so she's like telling me these things, but I'm just like not hearing them, because I can't believe what's happening to me. Also, I never bled one time. I didn't have an ounce of blood. Like, there wasn't even the slightest brown wipe. Like, never, never, never. So the only thing that I think like showed that I had miscarried was that I started to feel better in my pregnancy. And I guess that was just because the numbers had already started dropping down. But I was still feeling nauseous. So I was feeling better. I just wasn't as nauseous as I had been. And that's because my numbers were starting to drop. And that's why the nausea was going away. But it was also still there because the first test, I think I still had like my numbers were like 70,000. So I still had like a lot of the progesterone. I can't say that word. I still had that in my body. So like the number, that's why I was still feeling nauseous, because I still had those hormones in my body because I was still carrying the baby. But basically, the day that I had my appointment, they had said the baby was about 6.5 weeks. And so at that point, I had been carrying a baby for like 2 weeks that had already passed away, which tracks for my like feeling betterness. So that was really hard. We like leave, we go home. Tate is at Caroline's house. He's like with her all day. I just like get in bed, and I pretty much haven't moved from my bed since that day. So I pretty much haven't gotten out of the bed for 2 weeks. Hearing there was no heartbeat was like the worst thing that I could ever hear in my entire life. We wanted this baby so bad, and I like couldn't believe it was happening to me. I could not believe it was happening to me. Like, that's all I kept saying. Like, that's what I've still said is like, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, I know that it's 1 in 4 women experience miscarriage, and that's really common, but I just could not believe I was one of those 1 in 4 women. So it was just so shocking to me. I called my mom and like, I need you to come up here. Like, I can't be here. We can't do this by ourselves. Like, I need you to come up. So I pretty much just like lay in bed, because also like I'm feeling horrible. Like, I know I said I started to feel better, but I did start to feel better with the nausea, but my body also just felt really bad. I don't know how to explain it, because I know I'm contradicting myself saying I felt better, but my body felt bad. I felt bad, and I think it's because my body knew that there was something inside of me that wasn't alive anymore, but it wasn't passing it naturally. And so there was just like, my body felt really bad because of what was going on inside me, but I still had some of the pregnancy symptoms because I was still pregnant. Like, I still had a baby in me. And so I was just feeling so physically bad. Like, it wasn't even sick. I just felt bad. Like, everything hurt. I was still feeling nauseous. And that was probably some of the hardest parts of like the week before the day finding out to when I got a DNC. So I ended up getting a DNC, which I do think was the best decision for me. the week of that, I still felt pregnant, which was like so hard. Like I would wake up and feel pregnant and like hate every moment of it. Like it was just horrible. And I felt icky. I was just like, the day between Wednesday and Friday, so I go back Friday to confirm my blood work. Those were the longest like 3 days of my life, like waiting for it to be confirmed because I was grieving, but I was trying to fully grieve, but I was like, what if there's a slight chance that my numbers don't drop at all? Like, what does that mean? Because even if my numbers didn't drop, that means something's wrong with my baby because there's no heartbeat and the baby was so small. So even if for some reason my numbers hadn't dropped, like that means that there's something wrong. So like nothing is a good option at this point. So I'm just like, I've never been more sad, depressed, can't get out of bed, like laying in bed. I felt horrible, 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 horrible because I like still have a 2-year-old at home. Like I still have a baby. I felt like the worst mom on the planet, like not being able to be there for my child. But this is the times that I just like have to tell myself I'm so grateful that I have family that can come here and support us. I'm so grateful for our friends that are like our family that can support us. Like I know that Tate is loved. I know that Tate is taken care of. I know that I have a lot of people that I can send Tate to for him to go and play and have fun. And like I have to worry about him. Like I have so many trusted people that can watch my child that I knew that it would be okay. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Thomas was like the most supportive he could have been. I just was like, I want to be alone. Like I wanted to be alone in my bed, not talking to anybody, just like watching trash reality TV because I was just like so sad. I was trying to journal throughout it, which I did, which I'm really happy about. Some of that journal stuff was just like so comforting to be able to get out because I also like knew that I was going to tell people what was going on. And I waited till Friday to tell anybody. But those few days I was journaling, I was sad. I was just like didn't get out of bed. It was like really horrible. And then my mom came up on Friday. And Friday I did the blood work. And I did confirm that it was a miscarriage. My numbers had dropped. And getting that email was just like, or reading it was just like a gut punch. I knew that it was coming, but I was just like, okay, this is real. This is happening. And I'm glad that it confirmed it. So now I know for sure. And so that's when telling people started because at this point we really wanted our support. So I started sending out texts. I think I started telling people on Saturday, or Thomas started telling a couple people. I really sent out all of my texts on like a Saturday to all of my friends who I was so excited to tell that I was pregnant. Like I couldn't wait to tell them. And now I have really sad news. And that just like sucks. Like I'm sure for them, getting a text that their friend miscarried is like the worst text you could receive. I absolutely hated it. Like it just sucked having to like type that message out and send it. But I really wanted to tell people because like I wanted baby Mac's life to matter and people to know. And we needed support. We still need support. We still have a meal train happening right now because like I look put together right now. Like I put on an outfit, I put on makeup, my hair is brushed, but like I am like not okay. Like I'm so not okay. And so like I knew that we would want the support. I wanted people to know what we were going through because I wanted that support. And I knew that something that people could do to help is provide meals, and I wanted them. I just wanted the help because I knew that like we couldn't do this by ourselves, and I'm okay to ask for help when we need it. So I tell our friends that sucked. Our church and our church community has really carried us through this, honestly. Like people have checked in, people have been understanding when it takes time for me to text people back, like because I also like want to tell people, but then I like didn't want to look at my phone. And I'm also like have been looking at my phone so much. I've been like really sad and watching a lot of reality TV, but at the same time like doom scrolling because I can't do anything else, and I want to distract myself from being sad because I don't want to be sad. But then when I start to feel things, I'm like trying to process that out. So like sometimes I have a big wall up, and then other times I'm like crashing out. So there's just like not a lot of middle ground. So let me continue the story. So the day before I found out about what was happening, I called back the doctor's office because they had kind of told me like your options are the pills, the options are to let it pass naturally, to take some pills, or to get a DNC. And at first I was like, I'm doing the pills. Like I don't want a procedure. I don't want to go to the hospital. Like I'm just going to do the pills because my body at that point was not passing it naturally. I did not bleed at all. Baby had passed away 2.5 weeks before that, or 2 weeks before that. So like there was no signs that my body was passing this normally or naturally, and I just like did not want to wait any longer. The moment I found out that this sweet baby had passed away, I was like, I don't want. As soon as we can do something, I want to do something. Like, carrying this is really hard right now. It's really heavy. I'm really sad about it. Leading up to the DNC, I started to feel a little bit differently about that because I found out on a Wednesday that the baby had passed away, and then the next Wednesday I had my DNC. So there was a week in between that. And at first I was like, let's get this done. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. And then as it started to get closer and closer, I was like, wait, like, I don't want my baby to go away. Like, I'm so sad. Like, we don't have much time left together. Even though baby's not here anymore, it still is just like so sad. Like, I knew that my baby was with Jesus, but I really wanted my baby to be with me, like, in my body for as long as it could be. But I also was just like, no, like, I want to move forward. Like, I want to be able to grieve. I want this out. But at the same time, I was like, I want my baby. So it was just like such conflicting feelings, which was really hard to work through. But the day before I found out for sure that I had miscarried, I called the office and I was like, hey, I was like deeply unwell yesterday. What are my options? Can we talk about this? Like, I don't really know anything because I was just like not okay, but I want to start figuring out my options. So can you like walk me through what these are? And they were like, absolutely. And the girl on the phone was so nice. She talked to me for like 20 minutes and it was just like so sweet for her to just like talk me through all this. So she explained the pill process and the DNC. And after speaking with her, the DNC felt right. She said most girls who go through miscarriage want to get a DNC because then you are like, we're 100% sure everything, passed normally. And it's a really easy procedure, in and out. The recovery is not very hard versus maybe the pills. It's a longer drawn out process. It's not as fast. But obviously there's pros and cons to everything. This DNC procedure cost $6,700. And as you know, I broke my leg a year and a half ago. So, we got the medical bills out the wazoo now. But thankfully we are I need to just say we are so grateful that we have help who are going to help cover this procedure. And I can't say that I can't be more grateful for us having people who are going to help cover the procedure because it not having to worry about the financial burden of this was the biggest blessing. Truly the biggest blessing we could have gotten is not having to worry about the financial burden of this. Because of course, like I go in the day I have to get my DNC and she's like, what money can you put down today? I'm like, I'm about to literally have a procedure where you take my baby out of my body and I'm so sad. I'm so depressed and you're asking for money. Like, ugh. Anyway, I understand it. The doctor who did that deserved the pay because she did a great job. However, it's so sad. Like, it's so sad. And like, I'm so thankful I didn't have to worry about the money part of it. But we talked through everything. I felt like the DNC was the best option for me. So I told her, I was like, as soon as I can get it done, like I want to get it done. And the girl on the phone was like, I know that we don't have your numbers back yet, but just like seeing everything, learning your story, reading all the stuff, like I do think that it was a miscarriage. So I'm going to go ahead and start the process for you if that's okay. And I was like, absolutely. So she went ahead, reached out to the surgical person. She reached out to the financial person. They went ahead and got the ball rolling because she was like, we only have so many days at the hospital that we can do this. So, we're going to have to, I want to go ahead and get this on the book so we can get it done for you as soon as possible, which I was so grateful for. Like, truly, I can't say enough good things about the care that I got, with the exception of one nurse at the DNC, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I was just like so, grateful that she talked to me through everything. So we scheduled the DNC. The days in between that were just like really awful and really sad. And I mostly like laid in bed and, we did have some people over, which was nice to like talk to people, but I really was just like, I want to lay in bed. And I've been watching so much Summer House, you guys. Like, I am one with Paige DeSorbo. I am one with Danielle. I am one with Kyle. Like, these people are like, I know their lives in and out now. Like, I've watched so much Summer House. I started at season 3 and it honestly is like such a trashy show. Like, I can't believe I'm watching that, you guys. Like, truly, it's not wholesome. It's not Christ-like. Like, it's so bad. Like, I'm just being full transparent with you. It's so bad, but it is what I just decided to watch. And because I listened to Giggly Squad, and so I was just like, might as well watch something. And so it has been a nice distraction, but it really is like so bad. Like, but I'm just being honest with you. That is what I am, no, I try to be known for my authenticity and my honesty because that is what's important to me, who I am. And so I'm just being honest with you. That is what I've been watching. So I just like laid around, watched a lot of TV. Poor Tate, like he knows that something was like not okay in our house. We told him what happened and he was just like, Mommy, your baby's gone. Your baby's with Jesus. And he's been so sweet. He's so attentive. Like he knows that something is not okay in our house. My mom and dad came for the weekend, which was really helpful. And he just had the best time with them. So I was like really grateful for that, having the help. And then my mom did come for a few days to help with Tate during the DNC procedure and to like be there for me. So that was really nice. But he knew that stuff was going on. He was very aware of it. He was talking about it. He was like, Mommy is sad. Mommy's sad, which was just like so heart-wrenching hearing your child talk about how they know how your mom is sad. Like it's horrible. It's horrible. But I'm hoping that this couple weeks doesn't like derail his life. I'm sure it'll be fine. But it was so sad. He definitely was like aware of what's going on. He was having like sympathy stomach pains. Like he would tell Thomas like, Mommy, my tummy hurts like Mommy's, like the baby's gone. And so it was like really sad. Like he's very aware of what's going on. He knows that the baby's gone. He knows that Mommy's not pregnant anymore. And I've started to feel better. So I'm, some days passed now since the DNC, since I'm recording this, and I have been starting to finally feel better. Like the bleeding stopped, the cramps are getting almost away, which is nice. So, I'm feeling better, which means I can actually like be present with Tate. The mental part is definitely like the hardest part, but I physically am feeling better, which means I can be more present for my child, which is nice. But this is also another time that I'm so grateful for the husband I have because we are equal parents. He takes care of Tate just as much as I take care of Tate, sometimes more, especially when I was pregnant. He was doing 90% of the parenting. And so like I didn't have to worry about my child's if he was going to be taken care of because Thomas is fully capable. So I was really grateful for that. And Thomas was also grieving during this time too. And so I'm really thankful that we had parents and friends who were taking care of Tate so like we could be together. So leading up to the DNC, I actually posted in a Facebook group asking for people's experiences because I hadn't talked to anybody who had a DNC before. And so I wasn't sure like what that was going to be like. But everybody basically was like, this DNC was the easiest part of the process. And they were right. The DNC was the easiest part of this process. The mental and emotional load of all this has been significantly harder. Everybody at the office was really nice, was really great. It was really comforting to have everybody be so great. The procedure was really smooth. Everything went perfect. When I woke up, I was highly emotional. Like I was very deeply unwell when I woke up from the anesthesia. I was like crying really hard. I was like saying that I want my baby back. It was like a really sad time. Like I have like vivid memories of how sad I was. And it was just really sad. I was crying a lot when I woke up. But like leading up to it, I was like trying to be in, good spirits as much as I could be because I was like ready for it to be over. But it was like really sad, like right before we went back, just like having our last little moments with Mac before he was like taken out or baby was taken out. So it was just like, that was really gut wrenching. Waking up. And then the nurse after that was really great for me. Like she was really caring and loving and sweet. But she kind of took that time to talk about politics a little bit with the process, which was like really not great because this was not my choice to do this. And just some of the stuff she was saying, I was kind of like, yeah, I know. Yeah. But like, I just was kind of like nodding my head, but I was looking back. I'm like, that was not the time to like lobby for certain laws with me or like talk about your, details of other women who've gone through this and how they have to drive across state to do it and all that. Like, this is just I'm not the person to be talking to this about right now. Because of what I just went through. Like it was just a lot. It was a lot. And so that was like not fun. But besides that, everything else was really good. And it was a really easy process and good process, which is like so sucky to say. Like it wasn't good, but it was just like I was in and out. I was not there for very long. I got there at 10. I think I was home by like 2:30. So like that was nice. I've been eating so much Bojangles, you guys, which is so horrible. Like I can't stop eating Bojangles. It's just been my like comfort food during this time is like getting a Cajun filet biscuit with Bo Rounds and a Dr. Pepper. Like that has brought me more joy than anything else so far throughout this process. So that's been my go-to meal. We've had a ton of people who have been bringing us meals by and like donating to us to like so we can go like DoorDash food, which has been super helpful. So everybody has brought such delicious food by. Truly, it's been so nice to just like drop meals off and like know that we have food and not have to worry about like our next meal at this point. That has been really helpful. But I was so sad. I was bleeding a lot following after. It didn't bleed for too long, which was nice, but just like seeing the blood sucked. I was still experiencing a lot of cramping. I think the hardest part so far has been like the big hormonal drop. Maybe not the hardest part because it's all hard. I can't really compare. The hormone drop has been really hard. I have been feeling very unmotivated to do anything. Like literally today is the first day in weeks that I've actually like put myself together. So I, feel really, really sad. I feel like I'm probably on the verge of being depressed, and I'm trying to just be aware of that and be aware of my emotions because as you guys know, I've been on Zoloft. I will go on it again if I need to. That's kind of where I'm at this point is like, let's see if my hormones kind of like even themselves out a little because today really is the first day that I've started to actually feel better physically fully. And so if I feel better physically, hopefully that will result in me being able to do things. And so I'm hopefully going to be able to do that. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. If I need to go back on Zoloft, I absolutely will. But the emotional part has been really hard. Also, this is another thing that's been really hard physically. Like I gained a lot of weight because my belly was like so big. Like truly, like you looked at me, you knew I was pregnant. Like I had such a big belly for being my first trimester. And that is really hard because that doesn't just like go away. And so like looking at my body, I'm like, I look like I'm pregnant and I'm not anymore. And that also really sucks because like my jeans weren't fitting properly, like things weren't fitting right. And now it's like, they're still not fitting right and I'm not pregnant. And I've also been eating like so much Bojangles, like so much Bojangles, so many sweets, so much ice cream. Like that has been a big thing for me right now is I've been emotionally eating a lot. So I'm just trying to be aware of that. I'm really trying to be aware of everything that I'm going through. Getting out of bed in the mornings is the hardest part of the day, especially when I was the week of finding out and the DNC, I was waking up feeling pregnant and that was really hard. And so I felt like I couldn't even get out of the bed because I felt like I was pregnant and I wasn't pregnant anymore. And that was really, really difficult. But I really haven't been watching what I've been eating. Thankfully, people have been bringing by vegetables and grilled chicken and things like that, so that has been helpful. So I've still been trying to make sure I'm eating vegetable of some sort every day, but I have absolutely been eating my feelings, which is not good. This whole podcast really is so sad and I'm so sorry. I hate that you're having to listen to me give a sad report right now, but if you've experienced this before, maybe this is comforting knowing that somebody else has gone through it. I will say one of my really, really good friends has gone through this and being able to talk to her has been so helpful throughout this whole process. And I just hate so much that she even has gone through this to where she could help me. But I'm so grateful that I've been able to just lean on her because she's gone through this before. So she knows literally everything that I've gone through. And that has been really helpful. So people talking about it is helpful. I want to talk about it. I want people to message me about it. I want to talk about it because I want this baby's life to matter. And this baby's life matters to me. I will forever, I've had 2 children. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but I feel like I have. I've had 2 children. I've been pregnant twice. I got bonded with this baby. I dreamt about our life together. I had the due date. I had every app. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk about is, I had all my apps set up. This time I was using Parallel for their prenatals, which is fantastic because they have a lot of supplements in their prenatal, which it is a little bit more on the expensive side, but it was honestly so worth it because they had all these different supplements and I really thought they were helping me. And that was another thing is why I didn't think that I had miscarried, I thought like, okay, well, I've been taking these prenatals and I've been feeling better. So like the anti-nausea blend in here is helping me. Like the, different supplements that I'm taking besides the prenatal, they're helping. I'm feeling better. So that was a big part of it as well. And I had to go and like cancel all my apps, which was just like, ugh, so sad. Cause like I kept getting like push notifications like, oh, your baby's, 8 weeks and 3 days today, and here's what to know, or thinking about the double stroller, or, feeling crampy today. That's normal. Like I just kept getting all these notifications. And so I had to like cancel everything. And when I canceled my parallel subscription, I put like miscarriage was the reason I canceled. And they sent me a box, which was so nice. They sent me this candle and this letter that was like, miscarriage is like the hardest thing you could ever go through. Like, I'm so sorry that you experienced this. We have both experienced this before, and it's gut wrenching, and like, we're here for you. Light this candle anytime you want to like have a memory of your baby. And it just like meant so much to get that, because it was just like so sweet. Cause like canceling the apps was a really, really hard part of like this process, because I, had to say why. And so just like getting that was really thoughtful. I will buy from Parallel for the rest of my life. Like they are so great. Like they have customer forever. It just like meant so much to get that in the mail from them. Because like it just meant a lot. I've had people send me care packages, which just meant so much. Something that Thomas and I were so excited about was getting a jelly cat for this baby. Once we had found out if it was a boy or a girl, we were going to go like get a jelly cat, because we love the jelly cat stuffed animals. They're stuffed animals. They're the best quality stuffed animals you can get. They are on the more expensive side, but they are truly 10 out of 10, like so good. Tate has so many. The first one we bought for Tate was a lion. And now he's like obsessed with he's got two favorites. He's got Tilly and Millie are his two favorites. He has a golden retriever and a cow. And those are like Tilly and Millie for life. The other ones he likes, but Tilly and Millie are his stuffies. He sleeps with both of them every night, and it's so sweet. And so we were so excited to we're like, okay, which jelly cat are we going to get for this one? Like, I can't wait to see, if it's a boy or girl. We're going to find out as soon as we can. So that way we can go get a jelly cat. And I looked on the website just to see like which one I would want to get if it was a girl. And I had kind of in my mind decided I want to get a bunny, like a cute little pink bunny. If it was a girl, that was kind of my thought, was the first one we were going to get. And so in my sadness, I told Thomas I wanted to still get a jelly cat to like represent this baby. So we went to the mall over the weekend, and we went and got a little jelly cat, and I got a little white bunny. It was a tiny one, and that just felt representative of our tiny baby. We do have an ultrasound of our babies. It's very tiny. But we do have that. And so just getting like the tiny little bunny was just like a nice like representation of Mac's life. So that was nice, trying to like, memorialize our baby. So we've gotten that. I'm trying to think of what else. Thomas is struggling too. So if you think about him, just also say a prayer for him. I've been sending him to play golf because I, number one, wanted alone time, which seems kind of crazy, but I just like really just wanted to like be by myself in bed. And I was with him a lot in bed too, which was nice, but I just kind of like was grieving this on my own. It felt like, not because people didn't want to be there for me. They did. They absolutely did. They were texting me constantly, like checking in, but like I just like wanted some time by myself. And so I sent him to play golf, and I knew that would be a way for him to cope, honestly, was just like to be on the golf course by himself, like doing a hobby that he loves and also just like processing through it. So I sent him to play golf a couple times, which I think was really, and he did say, he was like, this is exactly what I needed, which he was like, are you sure? Like he kept asking me like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And he almost like wouldn't go because he's like, that's crazy. I'm like, no, go. Like, I want you have to grieve this too. Like, I'm going through this, but this is also like your baby that you lost as well. Like, so I want you to grieve this too. And so he, that really helped him. So now we're just trying to like, not move on with life, because I can't, like I'm still at the restaurant, like I can't just like, on Saturday we had a little family outing for the first time since all this happened, and it was really nice, but I was just like at this little music place that we took Tate to play, and I was just kind of like sitting down a lot because I was still not fully like healed up or whatever, and so I was just like, yeah, like I'm sitting here, like knowing I had a DNC procedure on Wednesday. Like that's really crazy. Like I'm sitting here knowing that I was pregnant the other day and now I'm not. Like I was going to have a baby in November, but now I'm not. Like, that is a really hard thing to wrap my brain around. Was like, I'm going to have a baby and now I'm not. And my baby's not here anymore. My baby's with Jesus, but I really want my baby to be with me. That's been really hard. So that's where I'm at. So we're just going to try to move forward. I don't know with the podcast how often I'm going to be posting. I am going to take some time off the podcast because I just like don't know that I can come on here and like talk about things at the moment. So I'm posting this and I probably won't post for a couple weeks, but I am going to bring it back because like I've got, I already had episodes scheduled with guests that I had to cancel. Oh, one thing that I did want to talk about too is I was going to do a campaign with Anna Luisa Jewelry, which you guys know I love Anna Luisa. I'm wearing their two of their earrings right now. That's the only jewelry I buy is Anna Luisa. And I asked them if I could like push back the campaign because I was going to record a Mother's Day campaign. And I was like, I can't do that right now. And they were so kind to me. I was like, I will send the jewelry back if I need to because like I'm not holding up my end of the bargain, or like, can we push it back? I know it's for a specific campaign. And they were just like so kind and supportive and loving. And were like, the jewelry is yours. We are here for you. Like, yes, we can push it back. But if something comes up, like, do not hesitate to reach out if we need to cancel it. Like, it's not a big deal. We love you. We're here for you. We're supporting. We're so sorry you're going through this. Like, and it was just like so kind. Like, I just will remember how kind everybody has been to me during this. So, and they've been really kind to Thomas at work, just trying to give him the space to grieve this too, which has been really great. So it's just been a process, but we'll get through it. And yeah, I want to post about this baby's life, so I'm going to do that. And I want to talk about it. And so if you've gone through this, please message me. If you haven't gone through this, you can message me if you want to. Just like, I like to talk about it. I want to talk about it. So yeah, there is the sad update. Please remember Baby Mac's life forever. Baby Mac was going to be born. My due date was November 8th is what the doctor said, which on my app, it was saying it was November 4th. So that's about right. So November 8th was going to be baby's due date, which was going to be also fun because that was a good separation from Tate, because I was like, the farther we were getting along with not getting pregnant, we were getting closer to Tate's birthday, and I could not have 2 Christmas babies. That's crazy. So that was also nice to have a little bit of separation. They've said that like after a couple weeks, we could start trying again if we wanted to. Like, you can try again as soon as you want, or you can wait as long as you want. So we'll see how we do with that. I don't even know. I can't even like think about that right now. So we'll go from there. But thank you for listening to this today. If you have gone through this, I'm so sorry. I don't have any encouraging words at the moment, except for lean on your friends, lean on your village, which is what we've been doing. That's been the biggest help. It just really sucks. It sucks all around, and it's really sad. And yeah, I've been laying in bed a lot. So if you think about me, pray for me that I can get out of bed. I will. But yeah, so that's the update. That's the sad update. I'm going to start talking now because I've been talking for an hour. Okay. I love you, friends. We will talk soon.